podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey Tom, how's it going? It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while, I think. Early February maybe. But yeah, I'm good, thank you.
It's probably one of these Champions League games.
Yeah, it might have been something like that. It was probably, not a great result that night either.
We won't have any more Champions League games to talk about this season, sadly.
Or any exciting games at all.
After United's exit. Or any exciting games at all. Well, there's Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal in our hunt for the Arsene Wenger Memorial Trophy, 4th place.
Yeah, so, our experience in those kind of games has not been very exciting, though.
It's not been good. I called it that yesterday on Twitter, and someone said, he's not dead. It's like, he's been dead since 2005. Or 2004 was when he last won the Premier League and was relevant. So Anyway, let's not get into Arsene Wenger bashing, just for the sake of it. God, that was frustrating. You were at the game. What was the atmosphere like? It sounded like it was rocking on the TV.
Yeah, it was super good. It was amazing also to see from about 10 or 15 minutes before kickoff the crowd was almost full at that point,
right?
Which isn't always the case at Old Trafford. Rocking well before the kickoff. Atletico Madrid fans were really noisy as well, which always makes it better. Always makes it like when home and away are going at each other. And I guess the ref also added to the spice because I thought he was absolutely abysmal. But yeah, it was amazing. It felt like it could be potentially a special European night, but it definitely wasn't.
You know, with the ref, I actually don't think for Atletico's goal, let's try that again. With the ref, I don't think for Atletico's goal, that was, I don't know whether that was a foul or not. I mean, let me know your opinion, but I just thought it was one of those ones where they're being physical and Fred went down. But it was everything else. It was the playing into their time wasting and their spoiling tactics and the fact they called every single thing as a foul and just allowed them to ruin the game, which is Atletico's MO, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the inconsistency which got me. Like you say, for almost every Atletico every touch that we had on an Atletico player, they went down and they got a free kick. And then for the Elanga one, I agree with you. I think it was soft. It would have been a soft free kick. But they were getting soft free kicks all game. So if he was consistent, he would have given a foul there. On reflection, like you say,
yeah.
It isn't I don't think it is a foul. I don't think we can be too upset with that. We can be more upset with our defending, which there's, I think, 3 or 4 individual errors leading to that goal in terms of marking, especially Dalot at the back post and probably potentially Elanga not coming back into cover in that position as well.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it was Elanga that went down, wasn't it? Not Fred.
Yeah, it was Elanga because Elanga kind of burst down that right-hand side for probably the first time in the game. But it was just so many little, like you say, just playing into Atletico's hands. And even with Elanga's header where he got there before Oblak, he didn't do anything wrong at all and still conceded a free kick out of that.
Yes.
It was just awful. And then, like Ranić said after the game, adding 4 minutes on after all the time wasting and the referee looking at his watch and saying, yeah, I'm adding this time on.
I'm fully in favour of the 60-minute countdown clock that they're trialling right now. I know it'd feel like a completely radical cultural change for football, but if you look at the data, there's fewer and fewer minutes played.
Yeah.
And we're getting down to like sub 50 minutes in some games. It's like a half of football. So I think we are robbing the public, and it would stop that kind of, I mean, Atletico wanted to spoil the flow of the game anyway, so they may well have behaved like that anyway. But the time-wasting element would just be removed immediately because every time there's a free kick, the clock stops.
Yeah, Atletico would have to change the way that they play because they've been like that since the whole time under Simeone. Like I used to find it quite exciting initially when they first came out because it was such a you don't often see top sides play like this, like a Burnley or a team scrapping around at the bottom of the league. And it was quite exciting to see them take on the big boys in Barcelona and Real Madrid. But now it's become so tiresome over the past few years because it's just so annoying, especially when it's against your own team. Yeah. And last night was just a prime example of that. Like, They score, go ahead, and just break the game up.
It's perfect. It's perfect Atletico. I always think with Atletico, and they've not had a great season, really, but they always make the opposition look good. And that first half, you come out of the first half thinking, oh, United weren't bad. They played all right. But what did we have to show for it, really? We had the Elanga header that hit Oblak in the face.
Yeah.
It's unlucky.
Anywhere else it goes in.
I'm not sure that's great goalkeeping. Anywhere else goes in, right? It's just too close to him, too quick. Mm-hmm. So it is unfortunate. But for all that possession in that first half, not a lot to show for it, really.
No, there was the Bruno effort, wasn't there, which was Oblak actually made a bit more of a meal of it than he probably should have done just after they scored, just before half-time. But that was really it. And we had a lot of free kicks, a lot of corners throughout the game, to be honest. But like you say, in that first half, Rangnick even said after the game we played well in that first half. We kind of did, but then they obviously scored and they had that goal disallowed, which was really, really close. We were lucky, and Harry Maguire, when he goes wandering into midfield for I don't really know the reason. We were kind of lucky it wasn't more. And
yes,
like I said, we did have a great chance through Elanga, and he puts that away. It's a completely different game, but he doesn't.
I mean, it did feel like that Atletico were playing their game and we were getting sucked into it, and there's no space behind them. And unfortunately, Bruno had a bad game.
Yeah,
he just wasn't able to create, and he's the main orchestrator of everything. And when United don't quite function like that and aren't quite creating, Ronaldo comes deep, and they just get into each other's zones all the time. And it's just it got to the point. It was worse towards the end of the game, but it was true in the first half as well that Ronaldo comes deep to get the ball. He crowds out Bruno's zone. Bruno often goes ahead of him into a false nine position, so there's no creator. Harry Maguire steps into midfield, so you effectively get Fred, Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay as the attacking triangle. And should we be surprised they don't create anything?
Yeah.
It does seem a mess, and it feels like there's a lack of individual discipline there. I always worry, and we talk about it on the show a lot, about United's mental capacity and the fact that they collapse so easily. But it's also, and they are gutless, honestly, as a group, just fickle. But it's also lack of discipline, and I'm sure Rangnick is a systems coach, and I'm sure he's given them really detailed coaching, and it just doesn't feel like they're taking it on board.
No, and it almost looked like a tactic, Ronaldo coming out deep and into the wings and collecting the ball from afar, because he was doing it so often. However, it wouldn't make sense if it was a tactic, because it just wasn't working. Like you say, it was crowding out Bruno Fernandes. And you think to the weekend where Ronaldo was at his most effective. Well, we weren't great at the weekend either, but Bruno wasn't playing. So can those two play together? It used to be said a lot about the time in Portugal. They didn't get the most out of each other when they did play together.
It's a good question.
But then, yeah, and also maybe was Bruno fully fit? Did he still have potential hangover from his illness from the weekend?
I don't know. I mean, he got a clear COVID test.
Maybe that's why he came off. Yeah,
but it might well be. Yeah,
lingering on.
Yeah, no, he wasn't good. And I mean, Pogba wasn't good at the weekend, so I wasn't surprised that Pogba didn't start.
No.
For me, the only surprise in the starting lineup, I think we predicted it on the last show. So the only surprise was Dalot at right back, just because Wan-Bissaka had the shirt.
Yeah,
I guess it's the more attacking option. And so of United's 11 shots, 4 were from Dalot and 2 were from Raphael Varane. So 6 of the 11. And a whole bunch of long-range shots. It just goes to show that that United just weren't creating good quality opportunities at all. But yeah, Dalot was the only surprise.
Yeah,
for me, no surprise that Pogba wasn't in. But yeah, maybe, as you say, maybe Bruno is still having some after effects. I mean, hopefully it's not too long, because he's got a clear COVID test, so it can't have been so infectious. But yeah, it was odd that he couldn't create anything and just lacked his usual dynamism, and he wasn't even pressing people. United seemed to have given up on the press entirely.
Yes.
So, yeah, Ronaldo, I actually really liked his second goal at the weekend. So it's a brilliant hat trick, and I don't like to praise him, of course, because he's Ronaldo, and he doesn't need that. He just looks in the mirror if he wants praise. But that one where he taps it in, that's what you want from him. He's 37 years old.
Yeah.
I don't want him roaming all over the pitch. And there's tactically it's a mess because there's no one at number 9. But also he just becomes less and less effective during the game. But he went back to his old self, and I think it's ineffective for the team. And just anyway, it's done now. But maybe he'll fulfil his promise or seeming promise and disappear in the summer.
But you also wonder with Ronaldo, he was very good at the weekend, obviously very effective, and he'd had a break before that. He's 37 years old.
Yeah.
He's played 2 games at super high intensity in 4 days. I know he's superhuman, and his body's in incredible shape and all that kind of thing. He's a superhuman athlete, but a 37-year-old isn't going to be able to play to his most effective two games in 4 days. And it's impossible, I guess, for Rangnick to leave him out on Saturday and play him for this game, I guess, because of Ronaldo's ego. But it might have been the idea, but I mean, you can't really say that when he scores 3 of the weekend. But that's the problem when you have someone like that. You have to kind of play him every few days. But is he actually able to play 2 games in 4 days? I don't know.
Well, the fact that he'd had that break in Portugal, he seemed refreshed.
He did.
He's got a hat-trick.
I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but he seemed refreshed. It looked like he was refreshed.
It's a real challenge. I mean, it's posed so many, apart from the ethical challenges, which I don't know, I can't get over. Mm-hmm. But the tactical challenges for United that Ronaldo has caused, I think it cost Ollie his job and has cost United more than he's gained. I mean, he's got 18 goals, which is not a bad return, honestly.
Second top goal scorer in the league as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's juiced by lads. It's Tottenham a little bit, but it's just. I know it's a contradiction, and he's got all those goals, and without those goals, United probably wouldn't have been playing Atletico in the round 16 or whatever. But the tactical challenges just feel too many, and it's not him alone. Just doesn't feel tactically disciplined, and he definitely doesn't suit Rangnick's style, and he wouldn't suit Pochettino's style either.
No.
So it's a big question for whoever comes in next. I do think this is a bit of an aside, but Pochettino, Ten Hag and Rangnick all out in the same round.
That is amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh dear. Maybe we can move on to someone else.
That Ajax result was a very Man United kind of result as well. Well, losing at home. I mean, apparently they were really good in the first leg, but apparently last night they were very poor.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
I only saw the last 2 or 3 minutes of that after the United game had finished, so shame for them, but we'll see with Ten Hag.
Well, especially after the group stage where they won 6 games out of 6.
Yeah, that's right. They looked like a really good side. Yeah. They're top of the Eredivisie, aren't they?
With ridiculous record as well.
They score huge amounts of goals and concede hardly any.
Yeah.
I mean, they can concede. I can't remember what the number is, but I think it's single digits.
Yeah, it was last time I checked. It might be above now, but I'm not sure. Yeah, impressive either way.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I hardly know what else to say about this game. It's just so. I mean, it's disappointing, but there are European games that have been far more disappointing, and it's not crushing because I wasn't that confident.
No, neither was I, and I think people underestimated Atletico Madrid a lot. They say, they've not had a great season, which is very true. However, they did win the league last year, and they're so savvy in European games.
And they've won 4 or 5 on the trot. I mean, they've come into form at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. They've found another gear. They've found probably their best team. Suarez isn't getting in the team anymore. They've brought players in, and those players seem to be doing the right job. And like I say, they're so savvy in Europe. They've knocked out Liverpool at Anfield a couple of years ago before their last game before COVID.
Yeah.
Well, we did have COVID at the time, but for some reason our government didn't shut the country down.
No. Mega super spreader event that was.
Yeah, same week as Cheltenham. Yeah. But they are, whoever they play in the next round, they're going to cause them a problem just because of the way they play. And they go 1-0 up against you. They are going to foul you all the time. They're going to break up the rhythm of the game. They're going to make it frustrating. And we haven't got the mentality to deal with that frustration. Like we've spoken about previously, usually when things go bad against us, we crumble, we just disintegrate. We didn't at the weekend, but today, last night, we eventually just played without any shape. And I think maybe that is a little bit of Rangnick's fault as well with a couple of the subs he made, bringing...
Sure, he tried to throw everything at it, but United just lost everything, all their shape. I mean, look, talking about Atletico's discipline, there's no way they would have conceded that goal. No way. 2 chances to block across, and the right back would have. I mean, Ladero is a better right back than Dalot. Trippier was a much better right back than when he was playing for Atletico. There's no way they conceded. I mean, I was screaming at the TV in the build-up that, like, literally shouting, "He's, the man."
Yeah.
Like, he didn't see him once. Didn't even look over his shoulder.
His body position was so bad. Like, just literally, like, as your defender, you surely got to square up at least to try and see the rest of the pitch, rather than just look where the ball's going and then watch it sail over your head and then realise at the last minute there's a guy there who's about to nod it in.
I mean, the switch of play when you're playing wing-backs is the out-ball always, so tactically. And I guess United has shifted over. I mean, like, they're all out of position. Harry Maguire's out of position. Rafael Varane's out of position.
Yeah.
Tellez doesn't get over to the cross. I mean, he's done by a simple back heel because they're overloaded there. So it's a horrendous goal to concede.
It really is. It really is.
And they basically scored a similar goal just before that. From down the same wing to the same back post.
Yeah, which is an inch offside, and surely that's got to be a warning shot.
You'd think so.
The one thing I would say at the ground, it was really weird because, and I saw Wayne tweet about this as well. There was a medical emergency going on in our corner, and all the fans were trying to just basically get the game stopped. So, like, it was just really weird because I didn't actually see the goal in real time, and loads of people around our corner didn't either. Thankfully, the guy was completely fine, but yeah, it was a very weird moment in the stands. And like I said, Wayne tweeted about it at the time. It was very, very odd and quite scary.
Yeah, scary. It's the 10th anniversary of Fabrice Muamba collapsing on the pitch.
Oh,
remember
really?
that?
Yeah. That was horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've had a few famous ones of people having heart attacks, like Christian Eriksen, who's playing again now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a surprise. I guess the referee didn't notice. He didn't get a shout in his ear.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, people were trying to shout him down, but like, why is he going to? He's probably just going to think it's like a chant or something. Why would he expect the crowd to be like trying to get him to stop the game or whatever?
Yeah.
But yeah, like at the time, it's like a guy. I thought a guy's basically dying in the corner. Like, there's kind of bigger things that are going on here when they kind of score. But thankfully, he was completely fine.
So where does this leave United? It's not a good position, is it? I mean, there have been times this season when I've started to feel positive. I've started to feel we're only a couple of players away here. A manager who can inspire these guys, which seems impossible, but maybe someone can. And a couple of players, but then, like, after that result, the doom takes over. And you look at them and, like, how many of these players would be in a championship winning side? And I know they can't go from this to championship winning, or maybe the championship winning, but the actual Premier League title winning overnight. But there wouldn't be many, would there? I mean, what? Bruno, Rafael Varane,
Sancho.
That's it.
Yeah. Shaw, maybe
Luke Shaw on top form.
Yeah, on top form.
Which he hasn't been all season.
De Gea, I guess.
Maybe De Gea. I mean, his post shot XG versus actual goals is huge, right? So he's saved United like 10 more goals than expected.
Yeah.
But he's got even worse at coming off his line over the years.
He
just won't do it.
He's a goalkeeper would be amazing at five-a-side, but doesn't have to do anything else. He doesn't have to kick. He doesn't have to come out of his box. Like, he would have been a great goalkeeper. Well, actually, he wouldn't have been a great goalkeeper in the 80s because he's not a great coming for crosses, and he's not.
No, he'd been absolutely battered in the maybe in La Liga or something. The 80s when everything was in the air.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, he's like, I play in goal, and I'm very much like De Gea. I'm good at five-a-side, but anything that involves anything else, like being physical or coming off my line, or I'm okay at kicking. But like De Gea is it looks like, well, imagine like him in a Guardiola team with his kicking. He'd have been left out the place like Joe Hart.
He wouldn't be in the team.
No.
He'd be on the bench for sure. For all his brilliance.
Yeah.
Stop. And he's a couple of great saves yesterday as well.
Yeah.
From De Gea, his kicking. I felt when I first saw him play for Atletico, I was absolutely convinced he was going to be brilliant, and I was like so defensive of him when he was getting all that criticism when he first got into the team. I was like, no, this guy's going to be the best. My eyes told me this. And I mean, I can be like that sometimes, convinced of my own opinion, even if it's absolute nonsense, of which there are hundreds of episodes of evidence of the absolute nonsense I talk. But I was convinced this guy was the best. And it felt like his distribution was good, but of course he's been completely surpassed in that by keepers like Alisson and Ederson. And he feels a keeper from another age. Yeah. But anyway, I'm in a bit of a down mood about it, and I look at this United side. We need 3 or 4 absolutely perfect windows plus a great coach, and I don't know who that great coach is because the 2 best in the game, Guardiola and Klopp, are unavailable, and the 3rd best is probably Tuchel. He might be available. Yeah. Maybe. Well, I mean, I know it's a popular theme at the moment. I don't see why Chelsea would let him go though. No. Because they couldn't sign anyone else. They're not allowed to sign any contracts. Mm-hmm. So, and they can't accept any money. So it seems unrealistic. Yeah. So, I mean, it's Dan often says it. United should be out there getting the best of the rest. Whoever's the next best or the next best up and coming, who's going to be the Klopp of the next decade? We should identify that guy.
Yeah, Nagelsmann probably is at Bayern.
And get him in. But it just feels like such a big rebuilding job, especially with so many of these players leaving. I mean, Cavani, Pogba are going. Lingard didn't play yesterday. He's going for sure. And there's a bunch of others who want out and probably should just be allowed to go if they don't want to be part of it. And it's just mega rebuild.
I feel like I said this when into about 4 or 5 games into Ranić's tenure. I feel like I felt like at that point we were kind of a golfer going through a new swing where they have to go backwards to go forwards. However, yes. I feel like we need to go very far back we need to completely work on our swing, like every single part of it. And that is going to be very, very difficult. It's fine for a golfer because they don't have a huge fan base who gets on their backs when they're coming 60th in a tournament. Whereas if United go back to a little bit like Arsenal have done recently, where they've gone very, very poor, didn't even qualify for any European competition last season, and looked the better for it this year, like with their youngsters coming through. I feel like United have to do that. We need to rid ourselves of the egos a little bit like Arsenal have done. However, that is going to cause like huge teething problems. And are the fans going to be patient enough for it? It's going to be difficult.
I think they would be if there's a real signal that that's the direction. Mm-hmm. If there's an integration of 4 or 5 youngsters into the team or some promising players they'd found in the market who weren't quite ready, given the likely budget, which is not going to be good, I don't think, looking at the finances and knowing the Glazers.
And there's always a problem with that anyway, because like you do go back and just try and restart it all, you've also got to have faith in the guy you're doing it with, because you could end up going really far back. Like, yeah, we're going to have a couple of years of being quite poor, but in a few years we'll see the benefits of that. You've got to trust that the guys, when we're actually going back, that we are going to be able to spring forward.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, assuming Pochettino's leaving Paris Saint-Germain because he's got another year on the contract and they were reluctant to let him go before, but they're at the Champions League, so I guess that will be the narrative that's spread from now till the end of the season. Yeah. And Ten Hag, presumably it's a small fee to Ajax to release him. Fortunately, both of those guys have strong records of working with younger players and developing sides. Very strong records. Yeah. And I don't know, it's taking the pulse of my Twitter timeline, which is no kind of scientific study at all, but there seems to be quite an anti-Pochettino feeling out there. Yep. For me, he like taking that Spurs side and that group and developing those players to a European Cup final side. Yeah. That's an amazing job he did there. Yeah. I know it all fell apart at the end, but that's happened to the best coaches.
Yeah. And I think,
most of them.
I think the way, like what you say about developing the players is the most important, because look at United, how many players have we truly developed into being proper players, and just improving them to that in the same level that Pochettino can and Guardiola does and Klopp does. Like, United just don't do that with players. Like we either buy great players in and they usually fail. An academy player comes through, looks good for a little bit, and then tails off. Or like a young player comes in, a bit like Martial, they look good for a bit and tail off.
Marcus Rashford is the prime example. I mean,
exactly.
I know he also gets a lot of criticism, but I just feel so sorry for the guy. Apart from the injuries, he's had how many coaches? Rashford's had Van Gaal, Mourinho,
Solskjaer,
Oli, Carrick, Solskjaer, Rangnick. Yeah. Like all different styles.
Yeah.
And look, he's got to take personal responsibility too.
Yeah.
And right now, his body language is pretty awful. It's not usual Marcus Rashford, is it?
Yeah.
But it's just like it just feels like a symbol of what's happened. All this chopping and changing, different styles and philosophies, no direction from above. And is it any wonder it's had an impact on the players?
Exactly. Rashford last night looks, like you say, so bereft of confidence, and that was about as bad a cameo I've ever seen.
Out there.
No, and I looked at his face, and I really tried to just zone in on him for a little bit, just to see kind of what do you feel. And there was one bit when he gave the ball away, really simply. I just stared at him, and he just looked at himself, when you kind of can tell where he's looking inward, and he was just like, oh, what am I doing? What was that? And I guess he's just thinking that all the time at the moment, nothing's going right for me. There's a few players out there a bit like that. Harry Maguire.
There are a few players. I mean, Rashford, I guess he had this shoulder surgery in the summer, and he shouldn't have gone to the Euros. He should have just had the surgery and missed the Euros, because it was clear he wasn't part of Southgate's starting plan anyway. So I think that's ruined the season. His back injury before that ruined the season, basically. And so if he wants to progress in his career, he's got to do absolutely the right thing for him now, which is have the full summer off, come back, refocus, new manager in the summer, because that's the last chance. Surely, if he's bad next season, his contract is up in 24. United would be thinking about selling. So, anyway, I am I being too down about this? I can't find a way to see an obvious route back, especially if United are presumably at the Champions League next season. Then and with so many players leaving and the inability to do more than, say, 3 deals in a summer, it just feels like Champions League next season would then be a stretch as well. And then the finances don't look good because they've lost £150 million over the last 2 years of COVID, basically. And United are a cash machine, so they'll keep creating free cash flow, and they will this season with fans back and everything. But that's a 50 to 80 million pound hit. Well, round of 16, 50 million pound hit versus Europe. It's not nothing.
When I was talking to my mate Darren Richmond, I guess friend of the show,
friend of the pods,
at the game, we were very short term with our gloom. And when you kind of when you just put that out there in terms of that, I not even thought that long into the future about how bad this kind of situation is. I was just thinking towards the end of the season, for the fans going to games, how little there is to look forward to. Like you say, we've got a few big games before the end of the season, but those big games haven't gone well. And I just can't see us finishing top 4 because we're just so inconsistent. I don't really know what Rangnick is actually doing there anymore. What's his purpose going to be towards the end of the season? Players don't really seem to be listening to him.
It doesn't even sound like he's in... Yeah, they're not listening to him, and it doesn't sound like he's involved in the manager search. I mean, he said it straight up. I mean, unless he's lying to...
And the fans aren't really going to be massively behind him because he's not really done anything since coming in. So what's the point of that? The only thing I can actually see...
And it's this bunch of feckless idiots in the team. Are they going to be motivated?
Nope. The only thing that I'm excited for before the end of the season is the FA Youth Cup final, and that's not even the senior team.
Yeah.
So
no. I mean, that's definitely United's biggest game to come.
It is, by far. It's the only game I'd actually want to go to.
I mean, if United to get in the Champions League, given that Arsenal got 3 games in hand, I think we need to win 9 of the 10, probably.
That's not happening.
And the chances of that, Liverpool, Chelsea, and who's the other big one? Liverpool, Chelsea, and there's another big one, like Arsenal. That's the 6 points
away from home.
But even if they go well, United are going to lose at home to Norwich or something. So I can't see. I'm so sorry, folks, for being so doom and gloom. But I find it very hard to see a scenario in which United do qualify for the Champions League now. And most of my doom is about the players there. Partly about Rangnick and his ability to motivate them for this. But if we're feeling like this, it's hard to motivate ourselves for the rest of the season. I'm sure the players are feeling like that. And there's a bunch of them are leaving. Much as I love Paul Pogba and what he can produce on his best day, which hasn't been much recently, or maybe over the last 6 years, depending on how you want to look at it. Like, his motivation for being absolutely brilliant from now until the end of the season, it's not much, is it?
The only thing is that he might get a decent move, but then I imagine...
It's already agreed, I imagine.
Exactly. So what is the real point? Like, and then someone like Ronaldo as well. Like, it'd be nice to have a few moments before the end of the season, but he can just get himself up for a couple of games, I guess. Like, this is kind of...
He's self-motivated, yeah. I'm not too worried about him, intention.
Motivation, yeah, but his motivation is just scoring goals. I'm not sure he's that actually bothered about winning games or actually sticking to the kind of the tactical instructions that Rangnick's going to lay out for him, as we probably saw last night with him just dropping into these spaces.
Well, he had that conversation with Rangnick, it was reported, because his agent, George Mendes, just reports everything back to the newspapers. Just everything. Verbatim. Here's the chat they had over Zoom or whatever, and then let's give it to our favourite journalists. And so apparently had that chat with Rangnick about playing two up front, because presumably he feels that gives him the best chance of getting more goals.
Yeah, well, I guess that relies on it.
Yeah, his motivation is himself, for sure.
I guess that relies on Cavani actually wanting to play as well.
Actually being fit. And Cavani, you can't see the motivation there, because he's clearly going to leave for wherever, maybe one final season at Barcelona before he retires or whatever, and that's speculation. But if it feels like a good fit.
Yeah, they love signing them type of players.
And yeah, exactly. And in parts over the last 2 years, there's been brilliant moments with Cavani, but he's just never fit. And he says when he's fit rather than the doctors. And so his motivation to be fit now, we've got 2 weeks until the next game, because the FA Cup and then the international break. It's not got a game until April. He's going to come back from playing for Uruguay, injured or tired or wanting a few extra days off in Montevideo, beautiful city. Don't blame him. Bit of sunshine.
Yeah, he loves the nature and stuff as well, doesn't he? Just sitting about having like fishing or something. I think that's what he wants his life to be now. We've put ourselves in this position, but Cavani, it was awesome. Like you said, last season there was been some great moments with him, but to then not bring in someone younger than him who they could rotate up top.
Yeah, well, it would have been that.
Well, I suppose that's true, but we signed Ronaldo instead, and then basically meant that Cavani can only play. Ronaldo either doesn't want to, or he can only play in a two, but then the two doesn't always work. So. And then he's injured all the time, and he's probably lost complete interest in playing for United, and probably doesn't really want to play with Ronaldo either, to be fair.
Part of this idea of a refresh, with Cavani going, that saves $250,000 a week. If somehow Ronaldo wanted to leave on a freebie, that would save United £30 million next season. Lingard going, Pogba going, it's more than £1 million a week off the wage bill, which is significant. United's wage bill is like $330 million a year, so that's a big chunk of it. Almost 20%, 15% of the wage bills going. That leaves a lot of headroom, I think. Especially if they could find some sensible freebies to augment whatever budget there is. So I don't think it's a bad thing that Cavani's going, despite those brilliant moments.
No,
I think for the club as a whole, it'd make a sense if Ronaldo left, but I'm not sure the marketing folks would see it like that, because his Instagram follower account's like 50 million or something.
Yeah, this will be the perfect time to revisit the wage structure as well, because it's completely out of control. You see Liverpool at the moment like haggling over Mo Salah's contract, but there's so much intelligence behind that reasoning. Like, obviously a lot of Liverpool fans are getting really annoyed at their ownership for not just giving him the money that he wants, but you do that, then Van Dijk does the same thing, and Trent does the same thing, and Alisson does the same thing.
Yes.
And you get a situation like Man United where we're paying ridiculous money to Jesse Lingard.
Yes, because it all filters down, and you don't want the differential between the bottom paid player and the top to be so big. Yeah.
And then you can't get rid of him. So like Martial, when we tried to get rid of him, or if we need to get rid of Rashford or whatever, like it's just become such a huge problem, and we're terrible at
and then you have
players.
to reduce your fee because every club looks at the total cost over the 4-year contract, and to sign Martial, most clubs who would want Martial, and he's not had a good time at Sevilla, so what level is he looking at now? Look at his wages and go, well, we can't pay a fee, or we pay a very small fee as a result, and that's why they can't get rid of him. Same with Phil Jones, same with Eric Bailly, who's got to go as well. David De Gea's contract's up in 23. Honestly, that's a good thing, and knowing United and knowing their view of the market, where they go, the total cost of having David De Gea on a new 4-year contract versus buying a keeper, top keeper, and having him on a 4-year, it'd be madness to put him on another contract, but they probably will.
Yeah. There is so much that needs to change at this football club. It's so scary.
Well, fish rots from the head down. And clearly, the Glazers aren't going anywhere. It would be nice if they decided to sell, but who's the buyer in the current market? I don't know.
Yeah.
If state-owned is not the flavour of the month now. I mean, it was a couple of months ago when we let the Saudis in to
that was fine.
Take over Newcastle. Yeah, and Eddie Howe to become their principal PR guy.
Yeah. I mean, they get that they are kind of two advantages of supporting United right now. Like, I look at Newcastle. I don't think I could have supported United if the Saudis took over United. I'd have had a real problem with that.
It'd be beyond disgusting, yeah.
And we weren't owned by a Russian crook for 20-odd years during our most successful time in our history. So at least we've got two things to be thankful for there. Like, no matter how much I hate the Glazers, at least they're involved in that kind of shit.
Oh, they're just your common old garden scumbag billionaires.
Yeah.
They do fundraisers for Donald Trump, so they were quasi-state aligned for a little bit. But it's a different level of scumbag, isn't it?
Yeah, they're not financing the bombing over Yemen or the war in Ukraine, at least.
Well, I mean, I suppose if they could get into scumbag arms manufacturing, they might. But they're just in the fish canning business and then the low-grade strip mall business before they got into sports.
They would definitely be in BAE Systems.
God. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I suppose we're thankful that doesn't look like that's United's future, but the future, given what we've seen of the past 16 years of Glazer ownership, coming up on 17, is, I mean, there have been windows when United have failed to make the Champions League that they've spent big. In order to get back into the Champions League. So maybe there's that motivation. There is a cash flow problem, though, for sure. So unless they released equity in order to, rather than pay themselves, release some cash to the club, I can't see it. But there's an opportunity there. I think United have got a bit of headroom in the FFP. And if they were smart about getting some freebies in, because there's actually the market for free transfers this summer is not bad.
Yeah.
Apart from Mbappe, I can't really see that one coming off. I mean, it would be...
We'd somehow make him bad.
We would, yeah. 18th left winger in the side. But it's not really a left winger. But there at the Frank Kessie, I think would be a fine sign. For that reason, I don't think it's going to happen. Boubacar at Marseille is another of that kind of ilk of midfielders available. Pablo Dybala's available. I don't know whether he'd fit in the United side or whether he's even that good, really. But there are a few freebies out there, not the really top grade, that seem to only go to Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid these days.
You hope that whoever does come in as well has like a big say on the transfers. I mean, I guess a properly ran club, you would want the director of football to be doing a lot of that stuff. But yeah, we're not a properly ran club, and
you want it all synced up. You want owner, director of football, and head coach all synced up.
I think that might be a wise idea, but that's just I know that's quite out there and quite controversial, but yeah, I reckon.
Radical structure for a football club.
I'm a radical guy, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've no idea if Murtaugh's any good at his job. I mean, if he's had any say over the last 10 years, he's not very good, but I suspect he's not had much power over much of that time because he's not been in this position. So I guess that's like the upbeat view of things says Richard Ardle now in there. It seems like from the noises coming out of the club, rather than his ego running things, he wants the right people in the right jobs, and he's going to actually be a CEO and delegate power. I don't know whether Rangnick has any power in this consultancy role, but if he has any say and they listen to him, he's obviously helped build clubs, different structures of clubs, but has done that rather than the coaching.
Yeah.
So his technocratic skills would suddenly become very useful then.
Yeah.
And maybe they get this summer and the next few right. Because if they do that, that's the route back to being at the top. Because United generate the cash to compete with most clubs. And if they can just get the right signings and the right coach to inspire these feckless shites that are in the team, then my language is getting coarser throughout this because I'm annoying myself.
And I don't think that... I don't think most United fans want to win... Well, they do want to win the league in 3 years. But I think what would be enough for most United fans is if we are competing with Liverpool and City in 3 or 4 years. Like, winning the league is a big ask in the next 3 or 4 years if Pep Guardiola and Klopp are still at them clubs, because they're the two best managers in the world. They're two very well-structured football clubs, unfortunately, as well. But if we can get anywhere near them in the next 3 or 4 years, I'd be very happy with that. And it looks like we're on a good trajectory, and it looks like the next 10 years we're going to be at the same level. I'd be happy with that. But right now we are a million miles off. We might have finished second last season, but some people, I guess, maybe did think we could maybe compete with those two. I think they were very naive in that thinking, just because we signed Ronaldo. But it would take so much of this football club to be restructured, the new players to come in, the manager to do the right thing for us to get anywhere near competing with City and Liverpool. I think it almost feels fanciful to say we're going to be at that level in 3 or 4 years, because it just...
Well, it is.
And it shouldn't be. I don't even... I'm not saying we should win the league in 3 or 4 years, which is so long, but we are miles away.
You can definitely close it to... I mean, we're 20 points behind City. We've averaged 19 points behind City since Ferguson left. So it's not just that they've overtaken us, they've just completely obliterated us on the pitch. Off the pitch, actually, their revenues were bigger the last time out. So, although we know why that's juiced quite a bit, not putting much store in their accounting. But the 20 points is just, it's damning. Our ambition, God, it's sickening to say, should be to at least get that gap down to single digits.
Yeah, and it feels very David Moyes, but it's just a realistic thing at the moment.
Yeah. Alrighty, we haven't even got a game at the weekend to look forward to. It's 2 weeks off. No game at the weekend because it should have been a game against Liverpool. Anfield, that would have been a good one, wouldn't it, to get the mood up?
No, we wouldn't.
No, but that's cancelled because they are still in competitions, including the FA Cup. And sadly, Liverpool and City are both heading towards a treble. They can't both win it. Pray to God. I'm not even religious, but I might believe in God if they could stop one of those winning the treble. Yeah, so United got this, and then it's international break.
Yeah.
So we don't have a game until Leicester on the 2nd of April.
It's a relief for everyone probably listening to this pod, to be honest.
Yeah, don't have to listen to us moaning and bitching.
Well, I guess there's that. I was thinking more that they didn't have to watch United, but yeah, okay. Maybe a bit of both.
Yeah, alrighty. I guess we'll leave it there. Thanks, everyone. Sorry. Very sorry. So we got what have we got next? What's the next few games? We've got Leicester City, and then I don't know what comes after that. There's
Everton, is it?
Leicester, Everton, Norwich, Liverpool, Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, and Palace. Is the only 9 games left. It's almost over the season. Joy.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks a lot.